To quote the great rock star Axl Rose, welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. We've got everything you want, honey. We know your names. Today we go back into the jungle with the cast of Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle. Today on Fat Guy on Film. Welcome back to Fat Guy on Film. I am your host, David Human, and in case you're wondering, yes, this is my real face. As you can tell, today we are going to go on a little safari as we go back into the jungle with the cast of Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle. A continuation of the 1995 movie Jumanji. Since I'm in my studio, the hat might be a little too much and I might get a little hot, so we are going to doff the cap. Before I get into the review, I want to warn you again, as usual, we are going into spoiler territory. So if you have not seen Jumanji yet, you have been warned. So after this point, watch responsibly. If you don't want to know what's going on in this movie, just pause it, go see the movie, and then come on back. Like I said earlier, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, is a continuation, not only a sequel to the 1995 movie Jumanji starring Robin Williams. And I really liked that aspect of this movie. It has beautiful visuals, and instead of the game coming out into the real world, we go into the game for the first time. And we get to see this beautiful world of Jumanji. It's marketed as a family film, and I believe that it is rated PG-13 because there are some adult themes and there are some scenes that might be a little scary for younger viewers. This movie begins in 1996, which is 1 year after the events of the original Jumanji movie, where we see the father of Alex running along the beach. And he hears the drums that we were so familiar with in the last movie. And he finds the game Jumanji buried in the sand, and he picks it up. He takes it home for his son Alex to play. Well, we see Alex up in his room, and he's playing with a Nintendo 64. At least I believe it's a Nintendo 64. Please don't hate me down in the comments if I got that wrong. I can guarantee you it's not a PS4 or an Xbox One. So his dad hands him the game, says, I think you might like playing this game. He opens it up, and it's the original Jumanji game. He makes a comment under his breath.
He plays board games anymore.
He closes it up, puts it back on his shelf. And he turns back to his computer game and begins playing. Well, we see the game start to glow, and it transforms into a cartridge. And I really like this aspect because it shows that the game kind of has a mind of its own. Not only does it need to be played, it wants to be played. It wants people to come and be part of this world and get sucked into the adventure. Well, Alex sees the glow, reaches over, opens the game up, and now it's a cartridge for a Nintendo 64. Well, now intrigued, he picks it up, puts it into the console, begins the game, chooses a character, and begins to play. Fast forward now to 2016, where we meet a young man by the name of Spencer. He is a gamer, but also we could consider him a nerd in high school. He's the smart kid, and we see him playing a game, and he stops briefly to finish a paper. Later in the movie, we see him meeting up with his friend, Fridge, who happens to be the star football player on the high school football team. And it turns out that Spencer has been helping Fridge with his homework by actually doing his homework. And this is going to come into play a little bit later in the movie. Then a short while later, we meet Bethany, who is the hot girl in the school, always taking selfies, very, very self-centered. And we see her in class, and she's doing a test. The whole class is doing a test. She's done early, and she's on the phone with her friend doing a FaceTime video. And the teacher comes over, tells her to stop, takes the phone. Bethany says some comments, and she ends up getting detention. Next, we see Spencer, who's in the same class. In pops someone from the office and says, Spencer, they want you in the principal's office. They take him down, and there's Fridge sitting there. It turns out that they've caught both of them for plagiarizing. They know that Spencer has been doing the homework for Fridge. So now both of them get detention. Now we go into gym class. Spencer is also in the gym class, and we meet Martha, who's the smart girl. She doesn't want to participate in the activities in her PE class, and she makes a disparaging remark to her instructor about, I don't want to, I want to go to college. I don't want to end up being a gym teacher. And that gets her detention. Fast forward to the end of the day, we see all four of them.
Welcome to detention. Spencer, Bethany, Fridge, Martha. You're all here for a reason.
Hey, person walking.
You should be thinking about who you are and who you want to be. You'll have plenty of time to figure that out while you're cleaning out the basement.
And in the midst of being in this storeroom, Bethany's refusing to help. Fridge kind of also refusing to help. They start investigating this room, and they find a donated Nintendo 64 with a cartridge still inside of it that says Jumanji.
Are you gonna help, or are you too pretty?
I'm too pretty.
Yo, what's this?
A game for those who seek to find a way to leave their world behind. Jumanji.
Well, they all choose a character to play.
You pick a character and you're that person in the game.
Which one do I pick?
I don't think it matters that much.
Moose Finbar. Sounds like a badass.
I'll be the curvy genius.
Dr. Smolder Bravestone.
Guess I'm Ruby Roundhouse.
And before they know it, they've been sucked into the game. Now, inside of the game, obviously they don't look like they're real world characters, just like any other character that we would play in a game. We would choose a character and they would look completely different. Because who wants to look like themselves inside of a real game?
Guys. Boy, Vay.
Where's the rest of me?
God. Fridge?
Yeah, I'm Fridge. Who are you?
It's me, Spencer.
Who is she?
Martha?
Why am I wearing half a shirt and short shorts in the jungle?
I think we got sucked into Jumanji, and we become the avatars we chose.
So that means
Bethany?
Oh, wait, Bethany. Don't look at it.
They all come together and they realize that now they are inside of Jumanji and they have to survive this game in order to get out of the game. They meet Nigel, who's an NPC and their guide through the game, and he tells them how to play and that they have to play together. They learn of their skills, they learn of their weaknesses.
Weakness? Cake.
Yes, cake is my weakness.
You're a good weapons valet.
What is that?
I think it means you carry my weapons and give them to me when I tell you to.
Don't let this new body get your butt whooped.
So the stakes have gotten high, and now the adventure begins. They have to replace the jewel to the eye of the panther. It's given to them by Nigel, and now they've got to go through various things in order to save the day. And I won't go through the whole movie at this point, but let's just say, and you could probably predict this, they do just that, and they get out of the game, and they are changed forever. So let's talk about some of the things I really liked about this movie. Well, first off, I think the cast was completely on point. The Rock, come on, who doesn't see him as a hero? Who wouldn't want to be The Rock as a game character? He's huge, he's buff, and he's amazing. All the other characters look great in their roles, and they do a wonderful job, which leads us to the comedy. This movie has some really, really great comedic moments. I mean, let's look at it. Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black all in one movie. You're looking for a pretty good time with the three of them. Now, one of the things that I kind of didn't like about the movie, and then I'll go back into a couple other things that I did like. One thing that I didn't really like, back to the comedy. The comedy, because it is a little bit of adult, you have to be kind of wary with little kids. Some of it may fly over their heads, but the comedy may be a little inappropriate for younger audiences. But all in all, the comedy was pretty great. The other thing that I really did like is as they interact with other characters within the game. And for those of you who don't know, they're called NPCs, or non-player characters. As they come across these other NPCs, it's kind of funny that they have very limited things to say, and often if there's the characters don't respond to the NPCs will repeat themselves, which is kind of funny, like they're in a real world game, even though the characters look like they're real life. And I really did like that aspect. One other thing that I really didn't care about, Moose Finbar, being the assistant to Dr. Bravestone, he has this backpack. And the backpack supposedly has all of the weapons that Dr. Bravestone would need throughout any adventure that they go on. So in theory, he should be able to say, hey, Moose, I need my bazooka. And Moose should be able to pull that out and hand it to him. I think they totally underutilized the backpack, where they would be put in these situations and you kind of like go, psst, use the backpack. Maybe use the backpack. Hey, use the backpack. Even Dora the Explorer knew to go to the backpack.
Backpack, 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 backpack. On the backpack, loaded up with things and knickknacks too. Anything that you might need, I got inside for you.
Use the freaking backpack. Now, as you get into the movies, and this is where you find out that it's a continuation and kind of a sequel instead of a direct remake, because there is a beautiful tribute to Robin Williams partway through the movie. After Alex's character, Seaplane McDonough, he takes him back to the camp that he's been staying in for the last 20 years. And he's got so caught up in the game, he doesn't realize how long he's been in the game. Well, as they're looking around the camp, you see carved into one of the pieces of wood there, Alan Parrish was here. For those of you that remember, that was Robin Williams' character from the original Jumanji. And I thought that was really beautiful to see that, because we know that he lived in the game for quite a while as well. Now, all in all, I highly recommend this movie. The only thing that I would kind of warn against is the fact that the humor is a little more adult, and that might make some parents a little trepidatious about, taking their younger children. But obviously, you be the judge of that as parents. All in all, great movie, lots of fun. Highly recommend Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Thank you for tuning in again. Tune in next week when we go to the circus with Hugh Jackman, Michelle Williams, and the cast of The Greatest Showman. Thanks again. This has been Fat Guy on Film. I am David Human, telling you all, stay hungry.